Welcome. I am here with Alena Conley, who is one of our wonderful coaches within the CAP program. And she was in our MCE, the Mentor Coaching Experience, this past summer. And in the midst of coaching, she was telling me of some of the things she was doing. And I thought, wow, other coaches need to hear what Alena is doing as she is going through her training, because sometimes we hold back in training. You're like, oh, when I'm done, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But what stood out to me was Alena said very casually, and I think it was the first week you were in CPEC. I could be wrong, so correct me, but I know it was during the first month. You got your first client. Tell me how that came about, because you told me, and I was so excited for you, but I wanted other people to hear how that happened and just to hear that it can be done.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was the homework assignment where someone asked, well, what if we haven't launched our business yet? And we were just challenged to go find anybody. And so I put a post out there that said, taking a few pro bono clients. I had maybe 11 people come back and say, okay, I don't really know what coaching is, but I'd rather try it for free first. And so out of those people that I sent my intake forms to, I think maybe 8 people actually booked sessions. And so I was able to essentially get one client per week to just do all of my homework on. And I have a sales and marketing background. And so I had no idea what will become of this. But what I found was that at the end of our 1-hour session, people were kind of leaning in like, what's next?
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, this is the opportunity for me to just go for it. And so I had actually already established in my mind that if I could get some pro bono clients in the door, just to kind of help go towards my coaching hours, why not? But I decided to make it a paid service at a pro bono rate is what I called it.
Okay.
And so after the end of our first kind of discovery session, I just said, hey, as a pro bono client, you'll kind of be my guinea pig for the next 6 months. And because of that, I'll give you 50% off every session. And people were like, okay, cool. So I ended up, I think now I have maybe 6 paying clients, all who have 3 or 6 month contracts. So.
Wow, Alena, I love it. I love that you were like, oh, they want more. And was there anything in you that felt hesitant or afraid at all to say, yeah, you can pay me to coach and here's what it costs?
So one of the things that I did was up front, I took the template that you all gave us for the intake form, and I just changed the words around to essentially let them know that it was a paid service, but that they could get a pro bono discount. And so it made it where it wasn't their first time kind of being privy to the information. They were able to see, oh, this is actually a paid service. And so I think it made it easier for me once I got in front of them to then say, oh, by the way, did you want to take advantage of this? Which of course is always scary, especially the first time around. But I could tell just from their body language that they wanted more. And so I just kind of went for it. And after the first time, it was easy.
I love that. And I love that you basically planted a seed. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, I'm just doing this for free and I'm lucky for you to come, and let me coach you. It was, this is a paid service. I'm in training and you can continue this paid service and I will give you a discount. Lucky you. That's kind of the, which is true. But so many coaches are very hesitant around that. Do you have any advice for the person that they don't come from a sales and marketing background, so they might feel a little bit intimidated by this process, which you have to get over if you're going to coach successfully and have a business anyway. But what advice do you have for someone whose background isn't the same as yours?
Yeah. I think that what I had to come to terms with was, even though I wasn't a certified coach, many of us have decades of experience that we're bringing to the table. And so, especially in my sessions, it sometimes feel like feels like I've been doing this for years. And so I think it goes back to that mindset and perspective of this is just kind of making me official. But many of the people that are in our program are just so talented when I listen to all of their background and their resources. And so kind of a mind hack that someone always told me was, look at what you've made annually in other careers or your other profession and break that down to what your hourly rate is. Mm-hmm. And so, my hourly rate compared to what I'm charging people is like nothing, And so it gives you that confidence, like, well, I'm actually really worth this, but I'm giving this to you for like nothing. So it makes it easier to have that conversation and position yourself where you're like, you're not just paying for a 60-minute service, you're paying for 20 years of experience and knowledge and my degree and whatever, my relationships. And that allows you to kind of walk into the door knowing that you bring something to the table.
I love that. So I know you told me you are officially launching your business. You already launched it because you already have clients, but what does it mean that you're officially launching this month? Congratulations about that, by the way.
Thank you. Well, officially launching means that I'm going to have a website. People can go and book me. I don't have a job anymore, so this is like a real thing. I have my full-time, I transitioned about 2 weeks ago. And so I'm excited because this is going to be the first time that I haven't kind of had this as a side hustle is the main thing. And that was kind of my promise to myself was if you're going to invest in CTI and CPAC and all of these other things, like it needs to be an investment that's going to bring a return and nothing like ripping off that Band-Aid to get you moving.
That is the truth. Well, I am so excited for you. I'm proud of you. I love your energy. It's very infectious. I can totally see how your pro bono clients have become paid clients, and I'm trusting there's going to be a whole lot more to it. How have the sessions been going with your clients?
They've been going great. Sarah pretty much makes it foolproof. So all you got to do is say, okay, where am I in this process? I think that the biggest thing is just being an active listener. And when that's been the biggest aha for me is the moments where my clients light up is because I was really intentional around listening to what they were saying and helping them to see the bigger picture, because sometimes they're so into it that when I can say, well, what I'm hearing, is, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking, and so I just love that we have a framework that allows us to really connect with people, even if you don't have, years of this particular experience.
Yeah, that is so good. So anything else you want to add for your fellow coaches who are listening and like, oh my goodness, she's doing it, I'm doing it, or I'm wanting to do it? Anything else you would say to them?
I mean, I would just say coach as much as possible. I'm coaching anywhere from 2 to 4 people or 2 to 4 sessions per week. And this is prior to me opening the doors, which has given me the confidence, to do so. I also test out different ways to coach, whether it's using, the VIA assessment or different tools that we get through the program. And I typically will do that on my own family members. So anybody that will let you get time with them, just schedule it so that you can get better.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I did that so much. I think we just learn by doing, and sometimes we can be such perfectionists that we don't do enough. Like, being willing to just jump in there and do it makes such a huge, huge difference. So you are not the only one in CPAC right now who has gone from a full-time job to I'm going for it with my coaching. And for some people, it's just the circumstances of the pandemic and furloughs and layoffs and so on and so forth. So for anybody in that predicament where maybe it wasn't expected, any messages, lessons, or just insights that you've gained during this time when you've made this big leap into your business?
Yeah, I think that it's really the same experience across the board. So with so many people spending time at home or having to transition roles, there's this common experience that we're all sharing, which is like, there's got to be more. I have more purpose. What can I be doing with this extra time? Or they've just had very introspective experiences being at home with their families or being away from their job about who they really are. And so I find that most of my clients, even if they're not trying to leave their job, they're looking for new opportunities either in their personal or professional life. And so they're also on the same path as us in terms of discovering new opportunities. And so I think we said it in, CPEC training, coaching has never been more applicable than to this moment right now. And then when I see my peers dealing with some of just the psychological things that happen during a pandemic, being able to bring in some of that positive psychology that we learn is just like an absolute necessity right now. And so I've taken this perspective of just like service, like what the world needs right now is more coaches. So like, get on board.
I love it. I love it. Alena, thank you so much just for taking the time to chat with me for a few minutes and share with other coaches and aspiring coaches. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.